tell me a bit about yourself, man. You're into robotics and all, but still,
Yeah,
let
sure.
people know.
So I'm Alex. I'm
Okay.
34 now. I'm from South Wales in the UK,
Mm.
and I totally self-taught. I didn't go to college or university, and I started as a software developer. I've been doing this for about 15 years, and this year I started to get really bored. Actually, it was years ago. As AI started to come out, it kind of took my passion away from developing because what I really like is the challenge and doing difficult tasks that take real effort. So using AI to do everything just kind of felt boring, and I
Right.
started to hate my job. Um, and yeah, that's basically me. I've worked in multiple companies, but around the time of COVID in 2020, I went full time freelance. I had a daughter, so I wanted to spend as much time with her as possible. So I
Hmm.
really wanted to own what I do and have that flexibility.
Hmm. Well, did you like from start only? Did you start with robotics, or you were into AI or software initially, and then you shifted? You were like, I'm tired of this job. Let me start with my passion, which is robotics or something. Was it like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, absolutely. I've always tinkered with computers and I've been sort of into hardware and engineering, but I've never dealt with robotics until this year. It's a completely new industry for me.
Right. So like, were you interested in like robotics from like your childhood? Like, I mean, a child does not know that what actually robot is, but I mean, were you like unconsciously or consciously like attracted towards it that made you draw towards robotics?
Yeah, definitely. I've always loved tech as a whole, but growing up watching TV, the cartoons of Transformers and Beast Wars,
Right.
Iron Man, all those sorts of
Right.
robots.
So you like Iron Man, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, what I would love to see in the world is, like the robots or androids from Dragon Ball Z. I think
Yeah.
that's the way the world is going. I'd like to see that happen.
Interesting. So I mean, if you can tell about what are you doing right now? I mean, what are you working on in terms of robotics in the industry? What's going on in the industry, and how you're contributing?
Yeah, so there's a lot happening. There's a new robot out every day. I mean, just today, what is this? Early May, and Unitree have just released the GD01,
Right.
which is like the start of a mech suit, I guess. And I think that's totally crazy. Besides the humanoids and the other robots that are being released, there's mech suits that you can crawl inside and control. I think that's absolutely wild, and I think the space is progressing so fast. I don't know what we're going to see in 2027, but right now I haven't got any robots of my own. I'm 3D printing out dummies or mannequins of robots so I can
Interesting.
uh, so I can dress them up.
Or okay. Oh, really? It really looks good. Is it a mouse or something like that?
No, this is the head of
Oh,
an Asimov robot, and then I've
okay,
got
okay.
the start of an Iron Man mask, so I can
Right.
dress these up. So my ultimate goal is to be building different body kits of the robots that we know and love, and make them universal to fit on any humanoid.
Right. Interesting. Let me ask you one thing. I mean, when you actually started working into robotics, like properly, not on particularly Asimov, but in general robotics, what was that one or two things that nobody told you before robotics that you realized after working in robotics that oh my god, why did not someone told me this before starting in robotics? It would be very important, or it would be very beneficial for me if I knew it before starting it. Something like that.
So the cost and the real scope of all of the information that's required. I feel like
Right.
coming from software, I thought that was a difficult industry because there's so much to learn. But when you go into hardware and robotics, you understand that the world is much bigger. I mean, it's not just learning the mechanical engineering and the software that goes along to control robots, but there's also things like material science. That was a huge
Right.
one for me because obviously actuators get very hot. Robots can't do much without overheating right now, and
Right.
also the cost. The cost of everything in robotics right now is ridiculously high.
Right. I mean, you mentioned this a lot of times when I had conversations with you back then. Also, you you are telling that actuator gets heat a lot of time. I mean, is it due to like, I mean, heavy payloads that robots lift, or is it from the system inside, like batteries or something like that? I mean, what is the root cause of that heating of the actuator? What do you think?
So it's just because of thermodynamics. The
Okay.
motors they're spinning so much to keep these robots moving, and they've got to output a lot of torque and power. And because of that, similar to a car engine, they heat up.
Right. I mean, it's just like systems overall heat, and you
Yeah.
just don't get much, ventilative area inside the robot around the actuator. That's why it's heating, right?
That's right. Some robots, they're like open framed. So the Unity 3 G1 that uses just air cooling. So that's why it's got quite an open chassis. But still, if that's doing any sort of flips, or you might have seen the videos of them skating, they can only do that for about 15 minutes before they get overheated. But other robots that do low effort work, like factory and lifting boxes, like the Figaro 3 or Optimus, they have liquid cooling internal, so
Right.
they cool down by themselves.
Interesting. Uh, everyone says that AI is going to make robots autonomous properly. You are actually inside the robotics team right now, right? So how much of that is real, right? What do you think?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And a lot of the processing compute is done on board of a robot, but also they for like very heavy autonomous things, they usually require to be connected to some sort of computer or cloud function. And
Okay.
that's why Nvidia right now they're looking to build data centers on the side of all new homes built in the US, and that will
Okay.
allow robots to move around and connect to different mini data centers to give them that
Oh, okay.
compute.
Like portable ones. They're building such small
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, and
Okay, interesting.
also they're talking about space data centers. So we're moving a little bit past the cloud now, and we're putting them up in space.
Right. I mean, okay, that's interesting. I mean, is it like the most important part? I mean, I feel batteries, wires, and all other components, which are like fundamental parts of the robots, they do form a good robot. But the most expensive part, according to my limited knowledge, I think it's a GPU or the computation part, right? Or am I wrong at somewhere?
No, so that is actually a little bit wrong. So the most
Okay.
expensive thing at the moment is the motors inside, the actuators, and also the hands, because the hands are very technical and hard to get right.
Okay. I mean, motors. I have just seen the small ones which comes under $1 or max like $10 or $20 at max. I mean, when you say that motors are expensive, is it like motor or is it that specially built actuators which are specially used for that particular robotics type? Like every robot has a different use case. Some require very precision in angles. Some requires speed or something like that. So is it like that specially made actuators which are actually expensive, or is it like general actuators are also?
Yeah, so they are sort of specialized. There is a big range of different ones you can get, but
Right.
because of the frequency that robots are being built right now, the only people making these or mass producing these are China, and they're using them for all of their mass-produced robots. So there are
Right.
companies in the US now that are starting up actuator companies just so they can fulfill demand.
Right. So the next question is like, what's the most frustrating hardware problem you faced that no software solution could fix till now, or it might be fixing? I mean, they are trying to fix, but still they are not able to. It's hard.
So that's definitely the motors, the actuator overheat. And it causes a real problem for me because I'm building body kits on top of these. I'm essentially
Right.
building a heat trap around the robot so it doesn't let the heat escape. So
Right.
until we fix the actuators, if we can, all robots really need to be liquid cooled, and that's kind of stopping them doing anything performative other than walking and picking up boxes and boring things, really.
Right. If I say something like just thinking a robot like a build a big brick wall, made of small bricks, and I classify it by filtering out the common parts. The common parts that I consider are like an actuator, some wires which are connecting it, a battery, a microcontroller, and some sensors, I guess, and might be tool, or it might be a picking up hand or something like that. So if I scale that up in quantity, like if I take one thing, motor plus microcontroller plus wires plus sensors plus that small thing, and then if I like make it 10x 20x, which is basically making entire robot. Like each joint has an actuator, and each joint has a type of sensor that it requires. Is it like a good analogy to describe like this is how a fundamental robot is? I mean, this is how a standard robot is made fundamentally. Like if you break it up, starting from a single brick, which is this small kit, motor plus battery, as you understood, and if I put it brick by brick, it becomes a robot, like full-fledged robot. Is it a good way to describe it in a simple sentence for a person who is very new to it? Because
Yeah,
sometimes people see robots and they think like these are very complex things, but I view it at a point of view where I think it's just scaled up version of this small brick.
yeah, that is correct. The problem with scaling is that the laws of scaling are not uh, linear; they are relative. So when you scale something up, the max torque doesn't scale the same size as the increase of the robot,
Right.
and then on top of that, depending on the mass and the shape of the robot, the locomotion policy, which allows the robot to move, also needs to be trained, depending on how it looks.
Can you describe a bit in a simple words what locomotion actually means for the audiences who don't know?
Yeah, so that just means moving about. So getting a robot not just to walk around, but also to self-balance, move its arm and stay
Right.
self-balanced, add some weight. So if it picks something up, the whole mass and weight of the robot changes, and it needs to think about that in the robot's brain, so it
Right.
can still move the same as it would if it wasn't holding something.
Right. Interesting. Tell me about this thing, Alex. You seem to have a lot of like practical knowledge, which like normal people don't, tend to have it in themselves. It tells that you have a lot of practical experiences in this thing. Is there a moment that you faced in your life in past, or any of the duration in your life where you thought that what am I doing? This is too hard, and what kept you going inside robotics? Because robotics in general, it's a complex field. Like it's not for everyone. You need to be mentally very tolerative. I mean, you yourself like mentally challenging things, but some people who are kind of interested in robotics, they are kind of not much open towards having or handling that mental tension. So if you faced it, how did you went through it and became the person you are right now as an expert in robotics?
Yeah, so I've always been that way. I like tough challenges and I enjoy things that I can't do because it gives me something to work towards. But for general people, I think robotics is hard and it does require a lot of training. I'm someone who's naturally interested in everything I do. Excuse me,
Right.
and yeah, I just seem to pick things up a bit easier than the general population.
Right. I mean, what could be a general advice for a beginner who is like, let's say, just starting out? He's like confused about computer science and all, and he's like, their parents or their home or their family is forcing them. They do computer science, but they are kind of interested in these things which are emerging up, robotics or drones. But you are in particularly robotics, so let's take direction of that. And they are just starting out. Let's say in electrical engineering, they are trying to do it, but they want to learn from you that what should they do to themselves so that they can become like you an expert. Like what could be the beginner's guidance for them or advice for them who are just starting out?
So definitely start small.
I mean, what could be starting small? Like, I mean, what concepts do you think they should learn, like, just conceptually, before they get their hands on your like practical experience, like picking up parts. Before, I mean, as far as I have experienced, when I mingled or tackled with Arduino or Raspberry Pi type microprocessors, initially I had to go through some of the electrical concepts, which are basics. That how this sensor is working, what are these terminals, how do these terminals work, how do they join, how do I program it, how do I program it in such a way that I should know that if I'm writing this line in code, it's connecting this terminal to this terminal, and this is the instruction that it's sending, and this is the response that I will get. So these things are kind of, I think, are in theory. So in that case, what are the concepts that you think are very important for robotics that beginners
So
should really focus on?
yeah, so the best place and the first place you should go is the K Scale YouTube, and they do great work. K hyphen SCALE,
Okay.
and they are on YouTube, and they're a team that focuses on teaching people robotics from the
Right.
ground up. So if you're a beginner, they try and teach you in a way that doesn't use all the terminology that's hard to understand. They try and relate that information to anyone with any level of knowledge.
Right. So like you think simply going onto YouTube might be a very good start for them.
Yes, definitely.
Do you think they should get a mentor from like industry, or else it might be good enough for them to just watch YouTube videos, and if they find any doubts, there are AI tools available which I also use, but I don't know if they are beneficial for others also, like copying the link of YouTube video and then going to ChatGPT and telling it to summarize, or asking doubt to ChatGPT, where you are asking to AI bot who is not aware about the present scenarios what are going in the world, but the one who is making the videos, he might be well aware like you. So do you think there's a difference in that?
Yeah, and there's benefits to both. I think finding a mentor these days is a little bit hard, especially in robotics,
Okay.
but it's definitely doable. And if you're using AI, over time, AI kind of learns who you are, how much you know, and how best to teach you. So if you did ask AI to sort of teach you robotics from the ground up in a basic manner, it'll probably do a really good job of doing so.
Right. You know what? Let's come up with a small interesting topic. What do you think about like designing a cheapest robot? Like not literally cheap, but like affordable, like in low budget. What might be the starting money or starting finance that they require to just get started into robotics?
Yeah, so I'm not sure on prices, but humanoid robots are kind of niche at the moment and not always the best form
Okay.
factor. You'll see companies like Lume, Lume, and they
Okay.
have built a robot lamp. So it's just an everyday household item that shines some light, but then when you need it to do something, it can go and
Right.
fold your bed and do things like that. So that's a good example of someone who's downscaled robotics into an everyday item but made it still useful. And you see the same with the robot vacuums. They started off really small and basic, but now they can
Right.
do mopping. They can go upstairs. They track which area of the house it's clean and which is not. It takes itself back to a charging station. So they're good examples of smaller priced robots that are very useful in everyday today.
Right. Do you think robots are getting commercialized like quicker? Initially, it was just industrial robotics, but now I see Tesla Optimus. I see other giant tech giants which are making these robots, which might be very expensive right now. Like comparatively, it's like it looks very near to car prices. When it comes to buying it, are they literally trying to commercialize it or something?
I think so. There are the big players, Figure, Tesla, Unitree, and the Neo One X, and they are kind of premium products that do cost a lot of money, and they kind of go in for the overall polished look and consumer vibe. But in
Right.
in in realistic terms, consumers can't afford these types of products. They are as expensive or more expensive than a car. But there are open source companies like Booster K1. They are making smaller robots for more affordable prices that have the same capabilities generally, but they're a lot smaller teams, so they don't get as big marketing or funding. And these types of companies that are smaller, they're spinning up one every day. There are so many robotics companies now. I think the growth is huge and very fast. I think by 2027, we're going to see a lot of robots on the street, especially in places like China and the US. And I think by 2030, there'll be more robots than people.
Right. By the way, have you seen the some videos on robots where the robots are like literally failing, like while fighting they are falling off, or they are doing some things which are kind of relatively funny. Do you think it's a marketing tactic or is it like a performance? that robot can be engaging with you? Is it like familiarizing with the commercial public who think robots are dangerous or something, watching the movies?
Yeah, so definitely a marketing stunt, if you will. So a lot of these robots, they're not fully autonomous yet, so they are
Right.
all teleoperated. So what you might have seen is somebody actually being human through a robot using the
Right.
VR and controllers. And the things with them falling,
Okay.
yeah, they're very much only good at demos right now. And they can't do everything. So when you see a demo, it's usually a very specific use case. It'll take multiple tries to get the film correct, and the robot will probably burn out at the end of it. So
Right. Interesting. So.
they're very much made to look a lot better than they are right now.
Mhm. Right, so they are basically like the way we train large language models. They are just trying to train the robot, and if they achieve something, they just let it out that we did this thing or for as an achievement or something, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. What do you think the robots which are coming, like Tesla Optimus in your home, what are the tasks that you think which are unique that it could do, like interesting, fun tasks? Like it's doing regular tasks like washing utensils or doing basic household work. But when it comes to having a robot, there is a viewpoint when a user wants a robot to do fun with them, right? So what fun activities do you think it could do, and do you think is there any danger to privacy or robot losing his getting hacked or something? Because it's like having a personal robot in my home. If it gets hacked or if it harms me, it's a danger on me. I might be physically not capable of fighting with that piece of metal. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of bad things come into the world that people don't talk about enough. Like you said, a robot being hacked is an absolute possibility. And when robots are everywhere, if I've got a robot and somebody hacks it while I'm asleep, commits a crime, sends it back to my house, I will be jailed for that, and it won't be my
True.
fault. I don't think anyone is thinking about where the responsibility lies or where the security is. And of course, without the hacks, there is still also the possibility of robot harm. There are multiple cases right now where the people have got too close to the Unitree G1
Really?
and they've
Okay.
got hit because it doesn't have great sensors, so it might do something on accident. And you
Right.
might have seen a robot at the marathon. They have marathons in China for robots, and some of them fall over, and because they've fallen over, the locomotion policy is a little bit messed up, and they start doing this. They start just going crazy, and
Yeah.
they just need to be shut down instantly from that point.
do do robots have generally a overall shutdown button on their on whatever hardware, that if that they are not themselves aware about, that if we know, and if it does some mess up, we can secretly go and just shut down that thing? Or else if it's not, it might just know about it and it disables the button, and we are now
Yeah,
left with
so
nothing.
the button is not physically on the robot. It's
Okay.
usually via a remote controller, and if not a controller, then your computer. But if you don't have access to them, you can't really shut it down. Especially if it's going crazy, you're not going to be able to get close enough to do so.
Interesting. Do you think companies which are making these robots are like paying really prioritized attention on these things about the government policies? Because the dangers that we see or we discussed right now, these are like mass public dangers, and the government will be obviously thinking about that thing, and they will be changing the policies and the rules and regulations for the companies. So do you think in that case the government is being supportive for the robotics, or they are a bit hesitant and waiting for the companies to prove something which is good enough for the public before they grant them and license to commercialize it?
I think governments are always far behind on regulations for things like this. So right
Right.
now, the government is looking to regulate 3D printers so that people can't make weapons at home. But they should have
Right.
done this 10 years ago when 3D printers began.
Right.
So the same sort of thing will go for robotics until something bad happens often enough and gets in the public eye in the news. They probably won't be doing enough regulating.
Interesting. Are you aware about what's kind of going in India right now? I mean, you might be aware about USA. I mean, I guess you live in UK. I might be mistaking. Is UK is not in USA, right? I might be
No, no,
mistaking that. So
it's
I
a
mean,
little far away.
okay. Um, are you aware about India? What's going in India about robotics?
I know some things that are going on, but
Okay.
I don't know. Is there a particular topic?
Okay. I mean, I was just gonna ask you what do you think about the current scenario in India? That what do you think? Where is robotics heading inside India? Where should the Indian students which are should focus to get into robotics? Because there are certain investments which I see I'm not very deeply aware about, but government is making such investments to call robotic companies inside India, semiconductor companies inside India, to upgrade India's infrastructure and all. So I was just about to ask you for the point of view that you might have, that what should students in India focus on, watching the investments coming in, watching the companies coming in. But if you have any point of view,
Yeah, so I wouldn't really worry about India because India is usually at the forefront of technology.
right,
They always stay up to date. They watch what other countries are doing, and they're not hesitant to move with the times. I have seen some videos where India are collecting lots of data right now, attaching cameras, microphone, all of this to
right,
collect training data for robots to improve their policies.
right. Do you think are government regulations more important, or infrastructure is more important for for making a robot? Like like government regulations are kind of lagging behind. They are working very hard for it, for coping up. But at the same time, infrastructure is something which is under private institutions' hands for making it majorly. So do you think what affects more in terms of building a robotics company, infrastructure or government regulations?
I think the infrastructure probably because, well, I guess it depends who's doing this. People like Unitree and Optimus, they are black box computers. Nobody knows what's inside them except the people who build them. But open source companies like Asimov Robot, they are giving all of the information out for free, so you understand everything that goes into that robot and how it works. And I think open source is the way that the space will grow the most because it
Right.
allows people just like me and anybody who's at home and doesn't have access to really understand everything and build their own things.
Right, right. I mean, you spoke about black box computers. I mean, do you mean by the uh, AI point of view of the CPU, that what's going on inside the computation chips, which are like brains of the robots? Are you talking about that black box, or is it a completely different concept in terms of black box CPU or black box hardware? You just mentioned it. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so both. I think there's a big rivalry between robotics companies like Figure and Tesla, and then the people who specialize in hands right now, because
Right.
everyone's trying to get the perfect hand that can do, all specialized tasks, and no one wants to release their information on how they're building their hand. They keep it really, really closed source. But also on the software side, they're doing the exact same there too.
Right. Interesting. What do you think about students or engineers who are seeking for jobs in the companies? What should they do? I mean, for just starting out, like if you already have an internship, if you have already made projects with the company, you have a portfolio ready to show that I have done this. But who is completely beginner, like he has done nothing related to robotics, which can be labeled as authentic. Like if I work with a company who is established at least as a good robotic company, if I have at least interned under them, I can show that yeah, I can work on robotics and I can apply for bigger positions. But someone who is just starting, what should he or she have in their hands to show the recruiter that this is what I've done to stand out? What do you think for the job seeking?
Yeah, so that's very difficult, and it goes the same for most industries. Unless you have something physical that you can show, you're probably going to get overlooked. But to do that, you need space, money, and time, which not a lot of
Right.
people have. So the next best step is probably simulations, where you train your own policies and you show your understanding of how things work, how things fail, and how to improve things.
Do simulations like really do industrialists really pay attention at the simulations? Like if I don't have hardware, if I made a simulation, let's say, of let's say a robotic hand in different scenarios, will I stand out in front of recruiters for hiring me for whatever their projects?
Yeah, I mean, if you compare this to any other industry similar to web development, people will look at the real website you built, similar to they would look at the real robots you built. But if you don't have a real website and you've just got like a hobby project, that will be the next best thing that they will look at.
I was asking some of my buddies that I was gonna meet you. I was gonna meet this buddy who is a really great robotics engineer. So they had all these questions. Many of the students today have these questions like, uh, should I get into hardware right now or not? Because AI is at the hype, like extreme hype. People, everyone around here who is like in even tier three city, all of them are like AI, AI, AI. Even if they don't know how to properly use ChatGPT, they're doing AI. But here am I telling with them, me being an electrical engineer, that please focus on hardware. AI is at its almost saturation. Coding is almost gone. Please focus on hardware. But they feel difficulties into starting it out. You know, the hardware problems and all of that. And even their family members are like, no, don't go into hardware. It's they are also not aware because they have also learned from their relatives. You know, because it's typical thing in India that what relatives say, what everyone is saying, it feels more secure as compared to taking better risks, right? So I mean, they all ask me one same thing: how do I get started into hardware, and is it good for me to ditch CSE or computer science engineering to go into hardware?
I personally, I don't think, you should take what I say with a pinch of salt because everybody's different. I think the
Right.
older generation are generally not risk takers and they will like you to go the secure route. But what they
Right.
don't understand is the pace of which things are changing right now. Uh, AI has only been out 5 years, or consumer AI has only been out 5 years, and jobs are already being taken. So if I would shorten that by another 5 years, or maybe 2.5 years, software and other AI related fields are going to be taken up, especially as compute grows. I mean, every single release from an AI manufacturer like Anthropic or XAI, ChatGPT. They're just getting better and better and faster. Hardware at the moment is just emerging, and it's going to be around for at least 10 years. There's a big overlap in the things that you need to know. So computer science with engineering, they go hand in hand. And ultimately, if you build a robotics company, you need people who know the software side and you need people who know the hardware side because
Right.
knowing both sides is difficult because it's so large. Also in India, I haven't heard of many, smaller indie robotics developers. So I think that there's a big opportunity and a big space for a new emerging company in India to be building a team like that. And I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get noticed. There are people on Twitter right now, they kind of map robotics over the world. So they say what robotics is happening in the UK, what's happening in China, what's happening in the US, and I don't actually see any posts about India, so there's opportunity there for sure.
Right. Interesting. What do you think are the top upcoming, opportunities in the robotics, industry properly? Like there might be opportunities which are spoken by people in public, but there are also some opportunities which are underrated, and the people who are actually working inside the teams only they know that this thing is gonna work. Like the people who knew that AI is gonna, get boomed, they were totally into AI few years back when ChatGPT was just introduced, when AI was just introduced, when it was not famous, and they right now are at the best positions that they can be. So, what do you think such opportunities which are underrated, which are right now, which people don't know about, that they should focus on?
Yeah, so that's a difficult question. And for
Okay.
me, I see people doing every industry in robotics. There are people working on, not safe for work bots. There's people working on skinned robots. There's people working on hands. There's people specializing in every industry. And I ask myself that same question. How can I get into robotics when I have no experience, I have no knowledge, I don't have a team, I don't have money, I don't have my own robots? What can I do in this space to stand out? What industry am I going to work in that's going to be successful and make me committed? And I settled on customization, the same way that car modifications happen. People decorate their homes, their hair,
Right.
their tattoos. They decorate everything. People like personalization, and that's why I decided that it would take me a minimal amount of knowledge to go into robot customization, and I realized that
Right,
nobody else is doing this industry. So for me, that's the biggest area that I think I can focus on.
right. I guess you are also working on such stuff, right? Mm, Tell me about your company. What you are working on? That graph thing. Tell me about that thing.
Yeah, so Graft is the first aftermarket for robot customization. So
Okay.
everyone is building robots that look slate gray, blank face, no emotion, and they don't really look like the robots that we expect, Gundam, Transformers, Iron Man. So I want to make that future possible. I want everyone to have a robot that looks like their own. So I plan to sell body kits, as I showed you with the Iron Man stuff. Right now, I've got customers for vinyl wraps. They are my first customers, and what they do, they just want like a plastic sheet of vinyl with a design print on, placed onto the robot body. And I'm doing these for both humanoids for the Unitary G1 and for quadrupeds, which is the Unitary Go 2. So that's allowing me to put branding and designs on robots to make them customized and look personalized. But I also plan to go into robot clothing because clothing will be a whole industry by itself. Because robots with the overheat, they can't wear regular human clothes. Also,
Right.
when they're off, they're hard to dress because they're heavy, they're dead weight. It's a two-person job, and they've got joints where the clothes snag. So they need like zippers, poppers, Velcro, magnetized
Oh,
clothing. And then the next industry, I think the next area I'll go into is synthetic skin, making robots look less metal and more like humans.
interesting. This is very interesting. The thing got me right now. It was the people who are buying the skins from you. I guess if I don't know if I'm wrong. They're buying it for branding their own robots, right? Like if it's a robotic dog, right now it looks like a piece of metal. But if they use skins of yours, let's say made of any animal like lion, tiger, or cheetah or whatever, that thing will look like a animal, right?
Yeah.
Are they using it for that use case, or is it just for branding or something like that? And what are the
So
other use cases they are looking for?
I would like more personal ones that look like animals, like a leopard or something. But right now, my only customers are using it for branding. So they're
Right.
using their own brand, and they have a company that's an airport in Dubai. So there'll be airline brands. So Qatar Airways, Emirates, they're gonna have their
Right.
own designs on these robot dogs.
Interesting. Like just
And they're
like
very expensive too. I mean, everyone in this industry they're spending hundred thousands on robots, so they don't mind
right,
paying a lot in an industry that nobody else is doing this.
right. Industry. This is like kind of going towards a very new hospitality related industry, right? The
Yeah,
way it's branding itself. Interesting. It reminds me of the thing that I don't know where exactly, but there are hotels in which they pay for normal water bottles which are not branded, just for branding their hotels, their name on it. So this looks like a similar thing. So it's opening a lot of job opportunities in terms of design, in terms of making clothing products and all of that. So you are one of the first mover in the industry. That's a
yeah.
really good thing.
I actually am. I think I'm the very first. The only other people who are doing this at the moment is REC, the Robot Fighting League in San Francisco. And
Right.
they tried to hire me, and then they released their robot skins when I declined them. So who knows?
Okay, they declined you. I mean, they declined your designs or they declined something else?
Oh no, I declined them. They tried to hire me. They wanted to
Oh,
acquire my company Graft,
oh, really?
so they could sell my skins. But then when I said no, they started doing their own skins.
Interesting. I mean, this reminds me of what Mark Zuckerberg did, not getting into controversy, but with the Snapchat thing, the stories that Snapchat had, he simply, copy pasted it on Instagram.
Exactly,
So
yeah, the stories and such.
yeah, it simply tells me that you are on to really something big. I mean, you might be the next, luxurious apparels brand for robotics.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's really good to connect with you that way. In this case, the way you explain how these things are going on in industry, about how these people approached you for the skins and then you denied it and they started their own thing, it's kind of hidden thing that they were doing. It might be not exposed in public because it was like their moves. What do you think from your point of view are the tech giants right now investing like into things which are not much public, like it might be listed down in like blogs or articles or something, but they are not in extreme awareness because they are investing it right now. Like for example, some a while ago, I remember reading an article about BlackRock, the biggest investment firm in the world. It invested billions of dollars in a company which builds charging stations for electric vehicle trucks. Like they are doing it in hardware, and you are doing it in completely different thing, but it's very similar thing. They are investing in something which is about to explode, but not many people know about it. What do you think other opportunities are there that you might want to tackle, or you are interested in, or you think they might pop up, like unique things like you discovered?
So personally, I mean, it's just speculation at this point.
Right.
But like robots, they're quite new. But today we've seen Unitree branch into mech robots, ones that you can crawl inside and operate. And nobody's seen that coming. And since there was no word about it on the internet. It just got released. And so the fact that they've released that makes me wonder what else are they working on that they're not telling us about. And my idea personally, I think somebody somewhere is working on an Iron Man suit that works just like an Iron Man suit, as you would expect
Right.
it. I think
Right.
that's going to be the next big opportunity, and it wouldn't surprise me if Unitree released that next week.
You said about Mac robotics. I mean, can you elaborate it a bit in simple words for the audience who does not know about it?
Yeah, so a mech robot is a robot that you can sit inside and operate yourself like a
Ah,
car.
interesting. Like Hulkbuster in Marvel.
Yes, yes,
Okay, it's very interesting. So it might be like a really good thing for you know underwater explorations for a diver or a
yeah.
scientist or whoever wants to explore, and even the space applications, right?
Yeah, and construction, lifting heavy things,
True.
tearing buildings down, anything like that.
Interesting. Seems like a lot of heavy investments are going on right now for making this stuff happen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Interesting. Have you heard about this thing? I recently saw a video a while ago. It's not much famous, but it's also something underrated like this. Some scientist, I don't remember his name, he made this thing. He took some muscles, I don't know which animals or which things muscles, and he connected something like electrodes or something. He connected, and it was driven by a small large language models. And when he connected it, the large language model or the brain, I mean, sorry, it might be not a large language model, but I guess it's human brain muscle or that cells. He connected it with some electronically connected actuator or something, and it started controlling that biological thing. Like that muscles, started to move just the way a human, like a child who is just born, it's learning to walk, but it falls down, it takes feedback biologically inside. The same way it happened with that thing. It's like kind of it's pointed towards cyborg, integrating humans and machines. What do you think about that's going on in the robotics? Because it's very related to robotics, like controlling animals using this thing,
Yeah, so
electronics or whatever.
I definitely think that's happening right now with Neuralink. The Neuralink
Interesting.
patients started controlling their computer with their mind, just using
Right.
Microsoft Paint. But now they play in Mario Kart and Call of Duty with their minds. And there are people who have lost control of their limbs and now have a prosthetic arm, and they can use their brain to control a hand even when it's not connected to them.
Right.
So yeah, I think bionics and things like that and cyborgs, they're definitely on the rise. I think maybe 2040 we're going to see a big uptick in people who have lost some part of their body
Right.
using robotic limbs.
Interesting.
So
I
there's a
mean,
lot of
that's
opportunity in the space.
right. Right. I mean, the way I started this thing as a cyborg, I mean, right now stating just simple use cases of it, but what I see right now in recent news is about cyborg getting much more priority in use case of warfare,
Yeah.
using it on training animals, or or even a altered use case of making robots but getting controlled by biological brains. like artificially lab generated, genetically generated muscles, which are like replicated brain cells, and they control the robot, which is like much more efficient as compared to present LLMs. What do you think about that? I mean, they are much focusing on warfare. Where do you think they have reached yet? I mean, in case of, are they like they are prioritizing it more? Are they quicker reaching there right now, or is it like still there? Some time until they reach the position where they have actual weapons in their hand, for defense or whatever purposes.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I
Okay,
would say as things progress, we'll see more of it though.
okay, interesting. Well, right now, okay, it was actually really, really nice to talking with you. I gained a lot of knowledge talking with you.